So if we're talking about, I guess I temporarily want to go back to what you said in regards to web causality as different aspects of ourself, all the different organs that the individual organs that then make up who we are. You can say the same thing in regards to our thoughts. And although we can identify the emotions, the thoughts, and all of the other aspects of us as culminating into the whole, I guess, us, what we are on a base level, all of that stuff does seem to be external. What then is within our control towards and I use that term lightly. Um, Towards the end of the chapter, you discuss the importance of discernment. Would you say that that is something like our kind of our flashlight in the dark, the way that we navigate the field causality, all of this potential? Would you say that that is somewhat in our control?
So the idea of control is kind of a trap. So I think that it's really interesting to talk about. But the issue is it's really easy to take the side, especially through Buddhist studies of well, there is no control. And that just like people's minds flare up and whatnot. What's important to notice, though, is let's pretend for a second that the Buddha believed and taught that you have no control over anything. Okay, but he started a religion and told people to do things and laid out specific things for them to do and very specific ways for them to do them and very specific things for them to focus on. So the whole idea, like when people get wrapped up in the idea of no self, it's a particular meditation that has a particular consequence. But when you extrapolate that and you come to this weird position of like, because I know that now I don't exist and I'm going to act like that, like that doesn't doesn't work. You can't act like there's no self. So what really we're talking about is two different things. The Buddha is bringing about this urge to look into um, the the complexity and the non non-unified nature of things, including your self and internal states, and calls you to see uh, what you otherwise cannot see. The the idea of control speaks on the same level that we all normally speak, including the Buddha and Buddhist teachings on a daily level. And you still need to go around and get food. You still need to sit and meditate daily. Your body has needs. You're not supposed to neglect your body. So when we talk specifically about the idea of control, we sort of risk superimposing these different levels and coming to weird conclusions. So uh, it's not helpful to say you don't control anything because whether or not there's a self, there is still significant choice. That is to say, it still gets weird because people are like, well, if there's no chooser, how is there a choice? It doesn't matter. You're still going to do one thing or another. You can get all caught up in the fact of whether there's a you or not, but what's more important is, let's say, if you spend the time praying or spend the time looking at pornography, that's going to have significant different effects on your experience. So, regardless of the fact that it's an aggregate and it's external to you, there's still significant choice. So, when we talk about control, I think it's important to say on we have these lives, we have these experiences, and we're supposed to. It's not a trap, it's not a trick. You are you perceive this general unfoldment from a particular point of view, and we call that aggregate thing a self. There's no particular self, but there is a contiguous particular experience. And that experience is going to go in different ways. And it goes in different ways based on almost, again, from this point of view, it gets weird, but almost an like a bootstrapping, like an internal circle of like, yes, my desires, my discernments, my decisions are also part of this external thing, but they're still significant and they still have significant outcomes. And I still, whatever that means, I still have the ability to intervene and to change. And that has significant consequences. So it's kind of like it's going on. Don't think about it too much on that level. Like you're gonna like, do you want to hit yourself in the face with a hammer or do you want to eat ice cream? Like, don't hit yourself in the face with a hammer. That like that's on that level, that's where we should be at. There's not a mistake to go through your life and be conscious and make good discernment decisions and strive for, again, back to the eightfold path, right action, right intention. People get all hung up because it's like, oh, but there's no self. So how can there be a right intention? Doesn't matter. You still have to have right intention. You still have to have right action. You still have to have, I'm pretty sure one of them is like right employment. So like just do not mix those levels. It will only cause problems. Um, Now, if we want to go to the other level and talk about uh, control on the minute level, we can, but I don't know if that's where we should go at the moment. You tell me.
Right. No, I think that's essentially it. I mean, I was looking at that aggregate of the self, and then at what point, where's that level of discernment coming from as we're moving around, as we're making those decisions, and I think that you really kind of hit the nail on the head in regards to describing what is control, the illusion of control. Do we have control? And we can get kind of tied up in that idea of whether or not there is or isn't a self. But I think fundamentally, when you look at the whole, there is decision making going on. There are certain aspects of that are undeniable.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
and then even on top of that, the people who think, oh, that's wrong, no self is significant and it has to do what it like, those people are going to then act differently,
right.
right? So that like their whatever meditation on no self has made them make different decisions. They
That's
can you
that's
can you can talk semantically about there's no they. It's like it doesn't matter. You change the way you acted based on information that you processed and sought out and whatever. Like there's no way to talk in a language of no self. So it doesn't really matter on this particular level. It's a useful meditation, it's a useful insight, but if you let it bother you and make you, it's not going to make you not make decisions ever.
right.
It's not going to destroy decisions. There's always going to be decisions that you're making. So you can either make good decisions with discernment or you can make bad decisions. And if you want no self meditations to screw up your life, okay, go for it, I guess. But like you can also not do that.